Hello all, welcome to VYSHIANS. In this video, we are going to learn about the Uniform Civil Code, its historical precedent and also what is its current status. And we are also going to look at a few arguments that are against Uniform Civil Code and also a few arguments for the Uniform Civil Code. So these are the things that we are going to learn in this video. And before we get started, a quick announcement for you. All these topics are done in editorial videos also, so it is recommended for you to watch both editorial videos and these videos also, because some of the topics that require much coverage, they are done like this in separate videos. Okay, so do watch both those editorial videos and these videos also for full coverage of any particular topic. So with that said, let's begin. Okay, so these are the things that we are going to study, the overview of the Uniform Civil Code, its history, current status and possible implications, along with some arguments for and against UCC. And why this debate? So why this debate has resurfaced recently? Okay, so recently what happened is 22nd Law Commission, it has released a new notification in June 2023, with the aim of gathering perspectives from diverse stakeholders, such as public and religious organizations regarding the UCC. So it is trying to solicit viewpoints from wide range of stakeholders like public organizations or religious organizations on the matter of the implementation of Uniform Civil Code. So this has sparked a wide range of perspectives and discussions. Apart from that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the implementation of UCC is imperative for India, because he also says that maintaining a dual legal system that caters to different religious communities is impractical. So this is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said. And what is the Uniform Civil Code in the first place? So what is the definition of Uniform Civil Code? Uniform Civil Code, it provides for a single law, for a single law for the entire country. It is applicable to all the religious communities in their personal matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption, etc. It also aims to bring about gender equality, secularism and national integration by ensuring that all the citizens are governed under the same legal regime. And this UCC has been a matter of debate and controversy recently, because there are some section of people who are opposing the implementation of UCC, while there are some experts that are actually advising for the implementation of UCC. And if we talk about what the Indian Constitution has to say about Uniform Civil Code, there is one article dedicated to that, that is Article 44. Article 44 of the Indian Constitution says that the state, it shall endeavor, to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. So this is what Article 44 of the Indian Constitution says. And this Article 44 is among the directive principles of state policy. So since this is a directive principle of state policy, it is not enforceable by court, but it is supposed to inform and guide governance, right? So yeah. And also currently the Indian personal law is fairly complex. So there are different religious laws governing different religious people. So there are separate laws governing Hindus, including Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists, whereas there are different set of laws that govern Muslims, Christians and also followers of other religion as well. And if we talk about what the Supreme Court has to say about the implementation of UCC, it actually favors the implementation of UCC. So it also cites the example of Goa, as the state Goa has been the first Indian state to implement the Uniform Civil Code. And coming to the history of the Uniform Civil Code, so this all started in 19th century. The demand for a UCC dates back to the 19th century, because those are the times when socio-religious reform movements were active, like with the social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and many others. They sought to abolish discriminatory practices that are based on religion and caste. Right, with the efforts of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, we got this Hindu Widow Remarriage Act. Right, so because of his efforts, this particular act it got enacted. And also because of the efforts of other social reformers, we could be able to abolish discriminatory practices that have their origin in religion and caste. So this since then there have been several attempts to codify personal laws also, and particularly Indian Constitution talks about the Uniform Civil Code in Article 44. And what the Prime Minister says, so Prime Minister has said that if we have differential laws and differential rules applied to different family members within the same household, it could disrupt the smooth functioning of a family. Okay, that is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi says. And now coming to different arguments, okay, for the Uniform Civil Code. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during his address to the booth level workers in the state of Madhya Pradesh, he called for the implementation of UCC. So he said the same thing. So having differential laws to different family members within the same household could disrupt the smooth functioning of a family. And this is what he says. All right. And what the union government says, so the union government, it also holds the same belief. Okay, it also says that the personal laws rooted in religion, they are a challenge to the unity of the nation. Okay, so the union government asserts that the implementation of UCC will provide the integration of India by establishing a shared platform for diverse communities. And now what Supreme Court says. So the Supreme Court, which is in charge of protecting the Constitution, it has expressed unhappiness with the fact that there is not a single set of personal laws for everyone in the country. And in different remarkable judgments, okay, like Mohammed Ahmed Khan versus Shabano case, Sarla Mugdal case, Paulo Contino versus Maria Luisa Valentina Pereira case. So in all these cases, Supreme Court said the same thing. Okay, it called for the implementation of UCC, okay, to be in place. So these are all the different landmark cases where Supreme Court has taken a stand for the implementation of Uniform Civil Code. And if we talk in specifically about this particular case, Shabano case in 1985, Justice YV Chandrachud, okay, he has lamented that Article 44, it has remained a dead letter. Okay, because there was no evidence of any official activity for framing a civil code for the country. So basically he wanted a beginning to be made in that direction. Okay, Justice YV Chandrachud's words during this case, Shabano case 1985, and also in the Keshavananda Bharti case in 1973, Chief Justice SM Sikri. Okay, so Chief Justice SM Sikri, he has considered that court cannot compel the government to lay down a uniform civil code. However, he said that it is essentially desirable in the interest of integrity and unity of the country to have uniform civil code in place. So these are the words of Chief Justice SM Sikri during this case, this landmark case, Keshavananda Bharti case in 1973. And also the Uttarakhand government, it has recently set up a committee to look into the affairs of, okay, the Uniform Civil Code. And also it has prepared a draft, okay, a draft UCC that seeks to raise age for women's marriage. And according to Kerala Governor Arif Muhammad Khan, he also says that the implementing of UCC has to ensure equitable dispensation of justice to women. Okay, women from diverse religious backgrounds, encompassing matters such as marital conflicts, property inheritance disputes and all. So according to his statement, the objective of implementing UCC has to be, it has to ensure equitable dispensation of justice to women. Okay, so that is what he says. And this particular lady, Zakia Soman, she is the co-founder of the Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Andolan. Okay, in her article, A Code for Gender Justice, she argues that it would be ideal for India to establish a codified Muslim law, okay, that aligns with some progressive interpretations of religious texts. So she is also basically asserting for the implementation of Uniform Civil Code, especially in Indian Muslim population. And this Indian Muslim community is usually governed by Shariat Application Act. Okay, Shariat Application Act of 1937. This is outdated because this Shariat Application Act of 1937, it lacks, okay, the provisions related to some important aspects such as consent, okay, right to meher, age of divorce, okay, age of marriage, divorce, okay, not the age of divorce, sorry, age of marriage, divorce rights, guardianship and custody of children, and also women's inheritance rights and polygamy. So these are the different provisions that are not present in Shariat Application Act. However, there are some affirmative provisions in the Quran. Okay, so despite the presence of these affirmative provisions for the women's rights, these circumstances persist. So the Indian Muslim population is perpetually subject to the governance of the Shariat. Okay, but the written version of this act is not readily available. This Shariat is open to interpretation by different scholars differently. So it is based on conventional understanding, and application of Shariat is mostly based on different interpretations. And this lady Zakia Soman, the co-founder of Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Andolan, she is advocating for the women's rights, and she said that there is a need of reforming the Shariat Application Act of 1937. Okay, and if we talk about some examples, okay, because this Shariat Application Act 1937 lacks provisions pertaining to elements like minimum age for marriage, consent, dowry, divorce, and polygamy, and all these things. Uh, as a result of this, the practice of child marriages continues to endure. Okay, and these practices, they are deemed justified, okay, based on the principles of Sharia law. So this law stipulates that a girl becomes eligible for marriage upon reaching the age of puberty. And also, if we talk about another example, the prevalence of polygamy, it may not be significantly widespread nowadays. However, the notion of a husband's legal right to have 4 wives, okay, is inherently problematic. Okay, and it requires attention in order to maintain the dignity of the wife. So these are the 2 examples. Okay, so these are the different views of Zakia Soman. Okay, and then if we talk about this professor of law and ex-member of the Law Commission, Tahir Mahmood, he also asserts the implementation of Uniform Civil Code. He also suggests some amendments to the Special Marriage Act and also the Indian Succession Act. And now if we talk about some arguments against Uniform Civil Code. Okay, so then there are some people who are actually opposing the implementation of UCC. And if we talk about Article 25 of the Indian Constitution, it provides the freedom to conscience, profess, practice, and propagate religion. And then there is another Article 29. So Article 29 says that any section of citizens having a distinct language, script, or culture have the right to conserve the same. So implementing UCC is in contention, okay, is inconsistent with the Uniform Civil Code. Okay, so implementing UCC is actually inconsistent with these 2 articles, Article 25 and Article 29. And then there is another argument. So contention is made regarding the inconsistency of applying the principle of one nation, one law to personal law of communities, because the codified civil laws and criminal laws such as Code of Criminal Procedure and the Indian Penal Code, okay, they do not adhere to this principle. So the variation in the law of anticipatory bail is already evident across different states. And then the 21st Law Commission. The 21st Law Commission is led by a former Supreme Court Judge Balbir Singh Chauhan, and he says that Uniform Civil Code is presently deemed unnecessary and not recommended. So this is what the 21st Law Commission talks about the implementation of UCC. And also he says that this particular Law Commission says that presence of disparities does not necessarily indicate discriminatory practices, but it rather serves as an indication, okay, of strong and vibrant democratic system. So these are the views of 21st Law Commission. And is UCC necessary? And if we talk about the views of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar during the framing of the Constitution, okay, he recommended that implementation of Uniform Civil Code should be voluntary, and that is why Article 44 is kept under Directive Principles of State Policy, not a fundamental right. So that is why B.R. Ambedkar is of the view that implementation of UCC should be voluntary, not mandatory. And yeah, then there is this professor of development economics at the University of Manchester. Okay, in one of her articles, she raises the questions of how a uniform civil code would be defined. So one of the questions is, for instance, what is the specific aspect of uniformity being referred to? Okay, and then she also raises another question like, so will the consolidation of these dimensions into a single code be pursued, or will each dimension continue to be addressed separately, okay, as is the case with existing laws? So in both scenarios, which principles will govern the attainment of uniformity? So these are the questions to be addressed before implementation of the Uniform Civil Code, according to this professor of development economics, Beena Agarwal. And also, so like I told, the 21st Law Commission, it exhibited a strong inclination, okay, towards prioritizing gender equality within communities as opposed to pursuing equality between communities. So in accordance with a report, 21st Law Commission report, the commission has thus addressed that implementation of uniform civil code is not necessary. However, we have to prioritize gender equality within communities. So that is what are the views of the 21st Law Commission. And it is also saying that it is important to note that the mere presence of diversity does not necessarily indicate discrimination, but rather it signifies a thriving democratic society. Okay, so these are the different views of the 21st Law Commission. And so that is the end of this video. We have seen a lot of things like the historical precedent of the UCC. We have seen a lot of arguments for the UCC, so different expert views, okay, and then we have seen some arguments against the implementation of UCC. And so that is the end of this video. I hope you gained some valuable insights, and thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.